Ask me twice to go live. Welcome to That's Good Broncos. Post-game victory over the New England Patriots. 18-12, the Broncos get a win behind 6 Brandon McManus field goals. It was ugly at times. It was beautiful at times. It got a little scary towards the end of the game there. Will, what? Wait, first, this episode brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, and use code DNVR when you sign up to America's top-rated sportsbook app. All right, Will, how are you feeling at the end of this game, and what do we need to talk about in this win for the Broncos?
Yeah, so I know the fourth quarter got more than hairy at times.
Very hairy.
It's time to take a step back. You predicted that they would win this game. I predicted a lot. I'm gonna give you a ton of credit for the optimism, and it paid off.
Paid off big time.
But we need to just take a step back. Forget about the drops. Forget about the lack of success in the red zone, because that was all very frustrating, and just appreciate the fact that they came to New England and got a win for the first time since 2006. Woo! How old were you in 2006?
Big win. Big win by the Broncos. Oh, man. Okay, so what I want to be able to do is just watch a fourth quarter of Broncos football without feeling like I'm going to shit in my pants because my stomach is just in knots, in huge knots. It was like Drew Lock pulled the worst part of Brett Rippon's game and inserted it into his, with 2 bad picks at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So I want to start with the bad so we get to the good, because I think Drew Lock played a hell of a game, and that his stat sheet is not going to show that. Because he had like 4 passes dropped, 3 could have been touchdowns, and these were not easy catches for the ball receivers. I think 3 were by Albert O, all heavily contested, but Locke, he put the ball, he was dropping dimes, and the guys just weren't hauling him in. So had those plays happened, I think we'd be looking at this game a little bit differently. And then in the fourth quarter, when the Broncos started to give it away, he throws a bad interception to the left sideline. Tim Patrick and him were just on a different page. So
right.
I don't know if that's Patrick. I don't know if it's Locke. I think Locke thought he was just going to run to the sticks, turn back around. That's where he was throwing. Patrick continued to run a fade route, which I'm sure is what Pat fucking Shermer called. So that pick, I don't know whose fault it was.
I think it comes down to the lack of reps that they've had, because something like that, figuring out where the corner is playing the receiver, and then deciding, okay, here's where we're going to throw the back shoulder. I don't think that's something you can figure out over Zoom in the offseason. I think that's something you have to demonstrate on the practice field physically. So they didn't get many opportunities to do that, especially learning a new offense. And Drew Lock hasn't been able to practice for a few weeks. This was his first week back, or maybe
that's fair.
I think the middle of last week. So yeah, I think it's just a miscommunication. Obviously, it was poor timing and it led them back into the game. But I'm not going to get super upset about that one. The decision making on the next interception, luckily it wasn't like the first one where it almost looked like he was going to return it for a touchdown, but it ended up being kind of like a punt. I didn't like the play call, though, with how well Philip Lindsay was running the ball. And Shermer, just he called an aggressive game. Locke made aggressive decisions. Some of them worked out. Some of them didn't, and they weren't Locke's fault. A few of them were. But, if he hauls in, if Alberto hauls in that touchdown in the corner, if Deshaun Hamilton holds on to that ball inside the 5
hit him in the chest. Hit him right in the chest.
Yeah. He's not going to have to force the ball in the fourth quarter. He doesn't throw any interceptions. So overall with Locke, I was pleased. Again, like he's not really a stat sheet guy, but he led them to like 5 or 6 straight. 5 or 6 straight scoring drives. And if you come out of a win on the road in New England, focusing on the negatives and spinning the last half of the fourth quarter to trash the quarterback that won the game, I think you're focusing on the wrong parts of that win.
Right. Well, I want to go to your first point about, them not being able to develop chemistry through Zoom. Right. Obviously they don't work the way you and I do.
Exactly.
We have only practiced together once in real life. So if they need some tips, Tim Patrick, Drew Lock, give us a call. 2, I don't think Drew Lock deserves much of the blame for that game getting close at the end. The second pick, Tim Patrick just trying to catch the ball, he put his hand on it, and that bounced it into the defender's hands. So
I didn't see that.
Yeah, like his hand goes out, the ball hits it, and then falls to the receiver. If he doesn't touch it, it probably goes into the ground. You don't want, if you're Drew Lock, you don't want to throw into double coverage or where double coverage is going to be. But I hate that Pat Shurmur is calling that play at that point in the game. And I said I'm going to start the Fire Pat Shurmur campaign on Twitter. I'm being a little bit facetious, but I don't like how he's trying to help a young quarterback.
I agree.
In that situation, you want to do 2 things.
Especially after the first interception.
Right.
Because had the offense kind of been stagnant, then I agree. Maybe it is time to take a shot. But coming off of the interception on the previous play, not the previous drive, but the previous play, and to throw a 50-50 ball or a ball just in the double coverage, I think is poor judgment, at least.
Yeah, and you have Phillip Lindsay, who just went over 100 yards on the game.
Yeah.
So you can obviously you have the option to run the ball there, which also helps you run out the clock. But also it's tell your quarterback, get him in a position to make some easy throws in those situations. Quick, easy throws that keep the ball in bounds. And if you set that up for the aggressive play, fine. Also, it was the second drive of the game for the Broncos. First drive, super aggressive, taking shots, love it. Then they just do the same thing. It's if you get the defense to start buying that you're going deep, take advantage of that and start throwing some underneath routes to get your QB some of those easy completions. So it's a little bit baffling in terms of play calling. And that's going to be my enemy when I'm mad about something. But again, going to stay positive because Brandon McManus, fucking money in this game. The Gooch Master destroyed it. He's
going to win 2 straight AFC Special Teams Player of the Week awards.
Yeah.
Is it a coincidence that he's having a career year after coming on our show? I don't think so.
Nope.
I think Aqib Talib should strap him up and see if he can get the little boost that we're giving players. If there's any players out there that want to come on the show and revigorate their career, go ahead.
Talib definitely needs to unretire if our show, maybe even Jake Plummer too. But
I think definitely Jake Plummer.
What I love too is so McManus hits 2 field goals over 50. He was 2 away from tying the record for most field goals in a game. So I was a little bummed he didn't even get a chance to do that. But the second 54-yard field goal, Belichick has a penalty on 3rd down. He declines.
Yeah.
So he could have pushed the ball back, but instead he's no, let me see McManus make his 6th field goal. He's at 54 yards. The Broncos kick it, split the Gooch, and that sealed the game. Those 18 points were just enough. So McManus on fire. And then the other guy, Shelby Harris, good God.
2 deflections.
He is
clutch.
So clutch. He's like Marcus Camby at blocking passes. Never will get the credit he deserves. What a basketball reference from me. Oh,
love it. Yeah, no, you're totally right. And Deshaun Williams making just feats of fat guy athleticism are so fun to watch. It's why we love Chris Farley. It's why Paul Blart Mall Cop was a box office hit. There's just something about it that is so pleasing to the eye. It's also disturbing to see like 300-pound defensive linemen do something that you and I could probably never pull off.
Yeah,
but so clutch by I was going to say Sylvester Williams, but he actually had a clutch play on the 2-point conversion. Yeah. I'm officially declaring that first-round pick worth it.
Right.
Going back 7 years. No, but really, like that play, Bryce Callahan stepped in front of a pass. I think he kind of one-handed that interception.
Yeah.
The fact that, the whole joke is that, like, Bryce Callahan, is he real? Honestly, like, he doesn't show up. He doesn't like show up on camera really during games because he's just very steady on the outside. Doesn't get a lot of receptions. That's what you want out of a corner, really. And then the one time you do hear his name called, picks it off.
Yep. He had a pick. That ball was also tipped at some point too.
Yeah, Justin Simmons, who had that tip pass and then recovery. Yeah.
Yeah. Deshaun Williams, that interception, I thought it was Sylvester Williams because I knew he was playing, and I saw Williams, and I haven't learned that Deshaun wore number 90 yet, so I had to look it up before I tweeted it out. Luckily I did.
Good job by you.
Pull up some of the. Oh yeah, here's like the box scores, but it was nice to see Sly make that play, and then your classmate Malik Reed.
Yeah,
big time.
Big sacks. That second sack was perfect timing, I thought.
Yeah. How many
he and Chubb, I thought, did a really nice job. I thought a big part of the win today was the tackle play for both teams. The Patriots couldn't really cover the edge. They couldn't protect the edge. And then Garrett Bowles and DeMar Dotson did a nice job of it on the other side. And watching Dotson play so well is frustrating because you wonder to yourself, like, I'm glad they did make the switch at least, but like, why wasn't he starting right away? Is
right
the question I have. Oh, well.
A question will be, how many times are we going to let Pat Shurmur call stupid offensive plays?
Yeah, better late than never, I guess.
Maybe when they get Cortland Sutton back, Jerry Jeudy becomes more familiar with the offense. Like they start, and Noah Fant's back, you can keep doing that because those 50-50 balls actually are 50-50 balls, and the guys come down with them. Like,
yeah, can we talk about Albert Akuibuno for a second?
Sure.
I mean, people are talking about seeing him play. I know he I don't know, the first one to the end zone, that was a tough catch.
All of them were tough.
Probably. Yeah, Locke probably put a little too much on that.
The second two are NFL catches you have to learn to make, right?
No, absolutely. Yeah, he should have. But at the same time, just getting open and the way he runs with the ball is so like fun to watch for me. And being able to get Fant back and to put both of them out there, because at this point, like, it feels like the Jake Butt train is starting to take off, or it's, the ship is sailing, I guess, is the more apt metaphor. But if you can get both of those guys in there, maybe keep Van Nett for blocking situations. I don't know how either of them block, but I could get pretty deadly. I want to see them running some crossing routes with both of those guys. That should be Yak City if they set it up right.
Ooh. Yeah, no, I'm excited to watch those two. I'm excited to watch Albert O develop.
For your first game. Like, obviously Locke wanted to target him and he wanted to prove that chemistry was there.
Right.
And it felt like it was close. Like that's the thing, is they were aggressive, and I like that for most of the game. They're aggressive in the wrong spots also, but eventually those passes are going to be completed because he was throwing them generally to the right spots. The receivers are going to hang on to them. And they're going to play secondaries that aren't as good as New England's.
Yeah, that's the thing. New England, like all of those throws that were dropped were New England was in perfect position. Like their guys, there wasn't maybe the most separation was Deshaun Hamilton with like just a yard, but even I think it was McCourty. Was it McCourty covering him or Gilmore? Whoever.
No, that was Stephon Gilmore.
That was Gilmore. You know, he made up for it and got his hand in front of the ball without touching it, which is why I think Hamilton drops it there. But it like all of those passes were very accurate. And that's, unless you watch the game, like you're not going to see that when you go back and go, Drew Lock had a 34.9 passer rating. Oh, you guys fucking suck. Like that's
you just got to ignore box score posters on Twitter that didn't sit through the game and watch it.
I will say, seeing he only completed 10 passes is a little bit alarming. Just because
it was efficient though.
Yeah, I'm just saying it felt like they played better than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, the Patriots were dumping off to James White every other play, and the Broncos were taking shots.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
I appreciate that.
Patriots are banged up football team too, and they really looked like it this week. They couldn't do anything offensively. Cam he did not play well. He made mistakes. He took a lot of sacks. I think the Broncos had 4 on the day.
Yeah.
But if you were smart enough to bet on the Broncos using America's top-rated sportsbook app, DraftKings, you probably won some cash because I believe the Broncos were like 9-point dogs, 11. I don't know. It bounced around a little bit, but there's no better place to get in on all the actions than with DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings Sportsbook is giving all new users, not old users. So if you're like 95, 100, you ain't getting shit. But new users, a chance to receive a sign-up bonus of up to $1,000. On top of that great sign-up offer, DraftKings offers great odds boosts every Sunday to help you make it rain. Like the Rains of Castamere, a song you might know from Game of Thrones. If you don't know, you're not a nerd. So congratulations.
They only play it in every other episode of the show.
DraftKings, safe, reliable, secure. So download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code DNVR when you sign up to get up to $1,000. That's code DNVR to get up a sign-up bonus of up to $1,000 for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 years or older. This is only for Colorado, so not Wyoming or Utah or New Mexico or Kansas or any other state that borders Colorado. Bonus comprised of a first-time deposit bonus and a first bet match, each up to $500. Deposit bonus requires 25 times playthrough. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for detailed gambling problem. Call 1-800-522-4700. Somebody just commented Kareem Jackson. He had a huge tackle late in the game. Was that a dump off to James White where he flew in and tackled him? That was a big play. He also, even better play, he hit Cam Newton's out of bounds and didn't get a flag thrown on him.
Yeah. I love the way he plays too. Like every defense needs a guy who's like a little too small to be hitting that hard, but just plays with like the mindset of like a 260-pound defensive player. It was kind of like TJ Ward on the 2015 team.
Yeah.
Jackson kind of brings that same like small dog, big bark energy.
Yeah, but like TJ Ward at least was like thick. Like Jackson looks skinny too.
Yeah, but he just like comes like shooting in, like he just uses his body like a projectile.
Yeah, he's like a knife.
He's like a
slim and
he's a missile. He's like a torpedo. He's shot out of the cannon. All those good ballistic metaphors use.
Kareem Jackson plays football the way I imagine that I played as a small safety.
Yeah.
Except I never really hit hard. I was just
let's check the tape.
I was just sound
Yep.
it. I was like, I would run in to do the hit and then just break down and lock around the guy's legs and then fall over with them. So I never had the balls to actually put my body in jeopardy. So, and I'm talking 8th grade, 9th grade, not past that. Young days when football didn't matter. Julian Edelman, washed or super washed?
Ooh, I'm gonna say a little washed. Couldn't get open. Generally, he plays some of his best football against the Broncos. What do you have? 1 reception today?
Yeah, but he was 2 for 2 on his passes.
Had a little layup pass to James White. Fine. That was good play design.
Julian Edelman, 2 catches.
He's a better passer than Cam Newton today. There's no denying that. I don't understand, why, and I said this about Cam Newton in Super Bowl 52, but why didn't they run him more? It feels like every time they tried to run him, good things were happening for them. And they're like, no, well, we're going to make him sit in the pocket too. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
It's clearly working. Maybe they're just trying to save him for later in the season.
Well, that's why
it's not going to matter if you're not winning. They're 2-3.
It's why New England was able to, get back into that game because Cam Newton started making plays with his legs. Like plays were breaking down, so he was just like, fuck it, I'll run. And he was breaking like 1 tackle, it seemed like, on each run that sprung it for, more yards. He was the Patriots' leading rusher, 10 rushes for 76 yards, and he got the reaching touchdown. So other than that, though, like the Broncos' run defense,
really good.
Proved to be great again. I mean, they held Damian Harris to 3.2 yards per carry, Rex Burkhead 2.8, James White 2 yards per carry. So, it wasn't like the Patriots rushed it a lot, but when they did, they couldn't do it. And
yeah, it did feel like they gave up at least handing the ball to their running backs later in the game, which I don't know. It wasn't working early, and the screen passes were, but it felt like Denver was able to tee off a little bit late in the game.
Yeah, I think if you're a Broncos fan looking towards the Chiefs, because I've seen a lot of people say, can the Broncos defense play that well against the Chiefs? Who knows? I feel a lot better about the Broncos secondary now than I did a few weeks ago. So I feel better about them covering the Chiefs receivers. I think if they don't get touchdowns from their offense, then it's going to be a shit show. But if the Broncos offense can finish drives and score touchdowns, then I think they've got a chance to be competitive against Kansas City. And I think we have to question what the Broncos are doing with their red zone offense. It's just a little bit baffling that you just kind of hit a wall. I
agree.
Not 6 times, because 2 of McManus' field goals were 50-plus yarders, so they didn't even get into the red zone. But that would be the one thing I want to see them improve on is red zone scoring next week. Because I do feel good about the Broncos defense. And that's not to say that I think the Patriots offense is going to struggle against good defenses all season because Cam doesn't have a lot to work with. If he's not making everything happen right now, the Patriots struggle. Plus their offensive line's all fucked up too. So
yeah, that's a big part of it. But if they play, because they're essentially running a college offense right now. And if they run into a defense that's disciplined and stays home and isn't fooled easily, they're going to have a tough time like they did today.
Yeah.
Going back to the red zone thing is one of the reasons that I didn't really like when they fired Scangarello, and I like how aggressive Shermer is, and that's one thing I like better than him. But Scangarello, I thought, especially when Locke entered the starting lineup late in the season, knew how to he drew up really creative red zone plays. I thought, going into that Texans game, they had some motions with Deontay Spencer, and then they'd do a little read option RPO where they could flip the ball to a wide open player. I was thinking about that shovel pass to Deshaun Hamilton against the Lions, getting Andrew Beck wide open against the Raiders.
Right.
It felt like he was able to use Locke's legs and cut the field in half and just kind of have guys leak out into the flat and make it really easy on Locke. And I feel like to score in the red zone now, Locke's just got to hang in the pocket, pick the right guy, and fit it into a tight window and hope the guy's going to come down with it.
Yeah.
So that's a big reason, plus the continuity, obviously, that I was a little less than thrilled with them changing offensive coordinators. But, yeah, he's got to be more creative. You got a mobile quarterback. It doesn't mean you're running quarterback draws or running powers like you would with Cam Newton, but let him get to the edge a little bit. Make the decision making process easier for him.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, like, you can judge an offensive coordinator in terms of how well they call plays when the field's condensed, right?
Yeah.
That's when things get tough. And that's one area it might have looked like Skangi was going to be decent in, like taking a page out of what he learned from Kyle Shanahan with the 49ers, who get the ball to anybody that's on the offense in those situations. It's why you like look at their stat sheet and it's like a carry for 6 of their wide receivers in addition to the running backs and like short throws and things. So yeah, that's an area that you want to see better. And you would think that with a guy like Jerry Jeudy on the offense, you would be able to do some damage on some short crossing routes or quick areas where the receiver is going to beat his man right off the line and be open for your quarterback. So it's about kind of, getting some of those plays involved. Also, I think maybe kind of an unsung player in this game, not that he was like spectacular, but Royce Freeman comes in and just does his job, getting.
Yeah, I guess. I'm always like shocked when Philip Lindsay pushes the pile more than Royce Freeman can. I was like, Royce Freeman's bigger by like 30 pounds, it feels like, and Lindsay gets more push. But yeah,
I'm just thinking of his 11-yard run nice. Where he did drop his shoulder at the end of it, but whatever.
Yeah.
Freeman hit somebody.
That was a good play. I mean, that's the thing is like this offense is just like at half strength right now. Plus like, because, when you're thinking about this offense in the offseason, like the depth was such a big part of it because you can switch between Lindsey and Melvin Gordon, which we haven't had this season so far. It's been either or. Fant and Akuibunam, which you haven't been able to put them on the field at the same time. Sutton and Jeudy haven't been able to do that. So that's like a part of it too is, they're having success and they're struggling in some assets or some facets of the game plan right now. But this offense was like designed to have all of these matchup problems at the same time. And they're only able to get like half of them on the field.
Yeah.
Simultaneously. So we need to keep that in mind too.
Yeah, no, it's
grade on a curve a little bit for a while, I think.
It feels like we've been grading on a curve for the last 5 years, though.
Yeah,
but it's fair. Like this is Locke's first game back.
Disadvantaged this year.
Yeah,
and they probably should be 3-2, but they're 2-3.
They're undefeated in October, baby.
Back-to-back road wins. Like it's actually too like the all the shit they had to put up with the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. It was a shit show just to get to this game.
Right. And then, you thought they were going to face Jarrett Stidham, and instead the Patriots get their starting quarterback back and the defensive player of the year back. And they said, okay, we'll beat you guys anyway.
Yeah. The crazy part, I thought
some credit for that.
Also, I think the Broncos defensive coaching is top notch. Like they're getting plays out of guys like Anthony Chiquillo, who nearly Chiquillo'd Cam Newton. Like, just fucking blindside blasted him in the back. That was a guy they picked up as a free agent after like week 1 or 2 because of injuries. The defense is just fundamentally very soundly coached. They're going to get AJ Boye back, so they've been without their best corner pretty much all season. So then you're going to have Boye. OJ Moutier is playing
another
better.
good game.
He had a very good game, had a pass defended late too. That was a key breakup. Still, I worry a little bit when he tries to tackle with only using his shoulder. We saw it again, but it also was kind of just maybe his only option in that situation. But Devontae Bosby played well. So you should have 4 good corners. So
no like great corner, I don't think, but 4 solid guys.
4 solid guys should be good. My Wi-Fi is acting like shit, but we've been live 30 minutes. I think that's a good spot to wrap it up. We'll have the full Broncos recap up on the That's Good Sports, my main channel, probably tomorrow, maybe Tuesday. I don't know. It depends on how much I can do in 24 hours. Don't know why my Wi-Fi connection is dog shit, but thanks for pointing it out. I can't see it. I just see a crystal clear picture of my face right now. So,
I see a little bit on my end, but I can still hear you. So
okay, that's all that matters. The more blurry this is, the better. For legal reasons.
You never looked better.
It's like that Instagram. It's just like those beauty filters that they just blur your face, and for some reason that looks better. Anyway, big win for the Broncos. Thanks for jumping in here, Will. I sprung this on him last minute.
That's what matters.
Big win. Beat the Patriots. Never going to complain about that shit.
How could you?
Good night.
And also,
good luck.
That's right.